Stacey Marshall.
You are listening to
Two Regular Guys
Podcast.
Hosted by Terry Combs,
Terry Combs, and Aaron Montgomery.
Coming to you live from a condemned outhouse on the wrong side of the tracks. Somewhere dark, dirty, and dank.
Wow, that's thanks, Jimmy Lamb, and welcome to the show, everyone. It's Friday, February 16th, 2018. I'm Terry Combs with Equipment Zone, and you can also find me over at terrycombs.com.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me at aaronmontgomery.info as well as over at sublysource.com. Today we're going to be talking to Matt Vassallo from the Rhinestone world, and I'm sure I just butchered his name. I know I did. I always do. He'll correct me. Sorry, Matt. I start reading and I go, crap, I forgot that.
He's only been on the show half dozen times. So
yeah. He's just Matt. He's the man, Matt the man, and we'll go with that. So we're going to talk to Matt about pricing your products when it comes to rhinestones, and it's a business, not a hobby, and we've got all sorts of people joining us, 26 viewers and counting, and hi from everywhere. I'm not going to be able to post everybody's comments, but we'll get to questions and everything like that. And yes, Todd, you were the first in. So
I did see a soggy Morgantown, West Virginia, and the Kansas Jayhawks are playing West Virginia on college game day tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. All right, Terry. Well, any news before we want to get to Matt and have plenty of time with him? But what news items you got?
Real quick, Aaron, I wanted to do a shout out to Nate Lieber. He's with ICS Print in Central Ohio, and Nate is a regular listener to the show. I was speaking to him yesterday, and he was commenting about the two regular guys. So, hey, Nate, thanks for listening.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for tuning in. And so my news piece here, Terry, is I got an email yesterday that they are down to only 10 spots left for ThreadX. Wow. And I just wanted to, I guess I'm kind of patting myself on the back here, but I called it early that I felt like this was going to sell out. And I want to make sure that it does. So if you're on the fence, go over to ThreadX. 18.com and get signed up. If you're going to be in the Phoenix area, I think we still got room in our car, so that we can even get you from Phoenix,
at least one seat.
Springs. At least one seat, and there's the roof rack, or we'll figure it out. So it is a big investment, but obviously lots of people are seeing what the investment is, why it's worth it being there, and I'm going to. Terry, the quote that Mark gave us that we like to repeat, something along the lines of
Mark Andre tells us that if you're not doing digital in your shop, you're going to be left behind. Just no question about it. So this is going to be a great event. And Aaron, I think we could fill those last 10 spots by reminding people that the two regular guys will be hosting casino night on Monday night, and we're going to be interviewing a few of the speakers there. And I've been getting emails back from folks, Aaron, that are excited to be on the show. So looking forward to doing that. And you and I are going to be on the whirlwind. We're going to be speaking in Kansas City, shooting back here Saturday night, leaving probably going to Cold Beers and Cheeseburgers for some dinner, and heading out on Sunday.
All right, and am I going to be sleeping right where you're at right now? No,
you're going to be sleeping in my spare bedroom.
Oh. I thought maybe I could do a show while I was, after we got back from the bar that night. But no, all right. Well, that's awesome, Terry. I'm excited about our whirlwind tour, but I'm also excited to get to Matt here. So let's keep going. I do want to remind everybody that at the end of the show, we do a weekly segment called 5 Things, and Terry's going to bring us 5 things this week, and he's 5 things your employees should expect of you as the owner or manager. So I'm looking forward to hearing that and taking some notes. Speaking of notes, Terry, one more quick thing. So you've got all your yellow legal pads for the trip.
I do. I don't have them all here, but here's a couple of them.
Okay. Well, I felt like I needed to step in and be part of this. So I purchased a new notebook here, but this is a more of a technical notebook. So basically, it's called the Everlast Rocket Book, and I can write in it, and then I snap a picture of it, and it goes into my Evernotes app or wherever I want it to go, and then I can put it in the microwave, and the ink disappears.
What? That's very cool. Bring that with you. I want to try that.
Yeah, we're gonna. I will bring it with me. So anyhow,
all right. Well, hey, we want to thank everybody for listening. We are really pleased to bring you this show since February 2013. We're in our 6th season, and you're not going to hear any rants or lecturing on here or selling. We would love for you to visit our website, 2regularguys.com. Check out the show notes from previous podcasts and a lot of links on there. Anything that Matt brings up today, we'll have linked on there as well. So you'll be able to go there and find the notes from this show as well. We would love to have suggestions about shows, and a lot of the shows we do are based on listeners recommending different topics. You can do that at our contact us page at 2regularguys.com. We're all over social media at 2regularguys. So we would love to have your comments. If you're watching us right now via Facebook Live, give us your comments, your insights, questions for Matt and Aaron. Before we dive in, let's hear a word from our title sponsor for 2018, the Specialty Graphic Imaging Association, SGIA.
Connected, empowered, inspired.
That's you after ThreadX powered by SGIA in Palm Springs, California, February 25th through the 28th, 2018. This new event, designed by and for garment decorators, explores not just how to sell products, but how to get noticed.
The focus is on marketing, branding, and consumer trends in this omni-channel retail age.
Join the 2 Regular Guys to satisfy your appetite for actionable inspiration with speakers including Johnny Cupcakes, Tim Williams of the YR Store, and many more. This is a must-attend event if you plan on seeing your company into the future. Plan on attending ThreadX powered by SGIA in Palm Springs, California, February 25th through the 28th, 2018. Go to threadx18.com for more details and to register.
We can't wait to see you there.
All right. Well, we're excited about that event, and gosh, Aaron, we're just days away. So I'm ready to load up the car and head to Palm Springs.
Yeah, definitely. Going to be a great trip, but let's not get ahead of ourselves, Terry. We've got, in fact, based on all the comments here, I think we're not the only ones anxious to hear from Matt. In fact, Jerry Dyke mentioned that anxious to hear this content today. I'll post that up there. Thank you, Jerry. All right, well, let's do this. Terry, you ready for bringing Matt in here?
Let's bring Matt in.
All right, here he comes, everybody. The one and only Matt, right there in the middle of us. Hey, Matt, how are you today?
Good. How you guys doing?
We are doing great. So welcome back to the show. Matt Vassallo, I think I got it right this time.
You got it.
Of the Rhinestone world. For those of you who don't know him, and I'm sure you've been living under a rock if you don't, but he's a popular industry speaker and a wonderful educator who's going to share with us how to be profitable with Rhinestones and Vinyl today. He's going to dive into the numbers for us and teach us how to understand where you need to be successful. We'll use his extensive experience with rhinestones and heat transfer vinyl to give us an in-depth look at costing and pricing your cutting plotter embellishments. So, Matt, you ready to do this?
I'm ready. I am ready.
People hiding under a rock or a really, really big rhinestone, probably. Hey,
real quick, I see we have a lot of our crew in here. So just like you guys do on our Facebook page, Aaron and Terry do a great job with this show. So if you guys could do our normal, if you're on Facebook Live, like and share the feed here, help them out. They have a great show, so we like to support them.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to try to keep
all
up.
Three of us are doing seminars at the upcoming DAX show in Kansas City. So tell us a little bit about Price It Right. It's a business, not a hobby, with rhinestones, HTV, and signed vinyl.
So what I want to do with this, I found out, and being in the industry and the finished product side of it and the production side, like you guys have been for a long time and were for a long time, I always started to notice a lot of the different businesses, they focused on selling you the materials and selling, but not really educating you on how to sell it, or most importantly, how to price it. So I've talked to so many of our customers that they'll tell me, hey, I'm selling this for this and I'm selling this for this. And I always try to get into their head and think about how they're thinking about their pricing side of it. And the more and more I spoke to our crew and customers, is the more I realized how much this was needed in classes like this in the industry. Because honestly, the businesses that we see going out of business are the ones that they feel like they're making money. They think that they're making money, but at the end of the day, after their overhead cost and their labor cost and everything else, if they actually figured it all out and calculated out all that cost, they're not making money and they don't realize it until it's too late. So that's why I always like to, like you guys both were, is I was in that. I mean, I started the business out of the house. My wife and I were both high school teachers. We knew nothing about this industry. And I know, Terry, you talk about it a lot, as far as you were really frugal like I was, and you were always trying to find out what I really needed to spend money on and what I didn't. And there's so many things that you, like we always do in our YouTubes and Facebook Lives, is we'll tell our customers, hey, we don't even sell this product. Go to Michael's, go to Hobby Lobby, get it on Amazon, save a bunch of money on these different types of things. We're not going to sell you we're the Rhinestone world and we don't sell Rhinestone workstations, because I tell you, there's an awesome one at Hobby Lobby that I found that you can get 60% off, save on shipping. You know what? That's an extra $20 that you can spend on blank apparel or rhinestones or something that's going to make your business money. So that's why I felt like a class like this was really needed at these shows, from somebody from experience that built a business from nothing. And believe me, like I'm sure both of you have, I've made a ton of mistakes in my business and it's cost me a lot of money, but I learned from those mistakes and I try not to make them again. And then I say, I try everything. And I'm sure you guys are the same way. I'll try anything and everything. If somebody tells me something can't be done, that's more of a challenge for me. Okay, I'm going to find a way to make this happen.
Yeah.
It's funny, Matt, when you mentioned about you and your wife being teachers, people will always comment about your seminars and classes and what a great communicator you are. And I always say, he was a high school teacher. Oh, I totally get that.
If you can teach high school kids, man. Yeah.
But I think it's so different. That's why I love your guys' show so much, because you're the same way. As there's a ton of great companies out there, but there's also companies that the only thing they think about is what's the bottom line? We need to make money. But then there's also companies out there that focus on educating. So my philosophy has always been, since I started this business, the more successful, we don't even call them customers, they're the TRW crew. The more successful our crew is, the more successful we are as well. If we can help them with pricing and testing materials out and ways to save money and ways to decrease your production time to where their business is making more money and they're growing, well, in return, they're going to need more materials and things like that. Yeah. So that's kind of always the approach that I've taken, instead of just, hey, let's just sell them a bunch of stuff and they can do it on their own. Unfortunately, that's the way I started and I had to figure it all out on my own. Luckily, I was able to work through it, but my goal is for the crew and everybody else out there to help them so they don't have to go through all of those same issues that we did.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's such a refreshing way to kind of think about it. And like I said, there are still, unfortunately, companies out there that look at their customers, or in your case, your crew, as just a dollar sign. How do we maximize the profit out of those customers? And if you go about it from the other way, like you do, you don't have to worry about that. They'll take care of that part for you. So that's so refreshing, and we love it, Matt. And all right, Matt. Well, I want to get into some nuts and bolts here, though. This is exciting. I've got my new notepad. I'm ready to go. So talk to us about the impact of production time as it pertains to your costs.
So one of the biggest things I talk about production time wise is, again, something that, and all of these mistakes, all of these things I talk about are a lot of things our the crew does and different customers and the production side does, but I did all of these as well. And that's how I learned from, and that's how I fixed them all. So one thing that I always talk to people about is, number one is I talk to, and we have a lot of customers that they still work out of their house, like I did as well. And they're thinking to themselves of, okay, well, it's me. I don't have any employees. Well, my response to that always is, well, do you want to make money? So technically you're an employee. You need to pay yourself. So when you're thinking about pricing and production and everything else, you need to think like you're an employee, because what happens if you price everything based off of no labor and no employee costs. Well, as soon as your business starts growing and you have those employees, you're going to have to raise all your pricing. Hey, let's help on the margins off the start. So one thing production wise, and I have a ton of videos on this, in this side of it with the rhinestones, with the heat transfer vinyl, where I see the biggest errors and the longest time and the most time taken that's going to kill businesses in the long run is the pressing side. So actually pressing your stones, pressing your heat transfer vinyl and different things. Terry, Aaron, you guys both know when it comes to screen printing, I mean, how many screen printers are using a ruler to measure to make sure that the design is perfect? It's not happening.
I'm going to say 0 on that one.
I'm going to say, if possible, negative,
man, here's
right?
what I tell them. Here's what I tell them. It's just a T-shirt. Nobody dies. Everybody relax.
Yeah. So the phrase I always use, it's pretty good. I'm good with pretty good. Okay. So what I see so many businesses do and people do when I go into their shops or I ask them how they do stuff or I'm at trade shows, they're over here and they got their press, they have their shirt lined up and they get it lined up here. Okay. So then they grab their ruler out and they'll start measuring sides when they put their transfer down. Okay. It's 2.5 off this side, 2 1/4 this side. I'm going to move it. Now it's 2.5 this side, 2 1/4 this side. And they're doing all this measuring and they're 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes into it. And then they're thinking to themselves, okay, how many fingers down do I go? A lot of people and a lot of our crew use the finger trick, right? Okay, it's 2 fingers down, 3 fingers down, 4 fingers down. And I try to talk to them and say, that's not something that works. You can't use that. So the example I always give, and it's, again, try to be funny with it as well, but help them learn and explain it to them. So people will always say, and I'll be in a show and they'll say, for a women's large, it's 2 fingers down. For an extra large, it's 3 fingers down. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. Those are the only shirts you make, right? Is women's large and extra large. They're like, no, we make other shirts. I'll say, okay, so how many fingers down is it for a onesie? And they'll kind of look confused. And then I'll say, well, how many fingers down is it for a men's 6X? And they'll look. So I'll always joke with them. I say, well, I know for a onesie, it's a half a pinky. And for a men's 7X, it's 2 hands and a foot. But again, this is just something that I feel like they're taking so much time. And at the end of the day, if they're teaching, and now they have employees that come in that they're teaching that to press this shirt, I'm at 3-4 minutes now for one shirt. So I'm explaining to them, okay, 3-4 minutes instead of with a 10-second, 15-second press, you should be at 30 seconds. Get it on there, get it lined up, get it pretty good, and press it. It's, no matter what, and I always explain to them, you can line it up all day long, but when you put that shirt on the press off the start, just to break it to you, you didn't put that shirt on perfectly straight, so it's not perfectly straight anyway. Right?
Yeah. Well,
so the biggest thing, go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and nobody's body's perfectly straight either.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, and a trick that I really, really love is instead of using the finger trick, and this is what I always tell them, Terry, the shirt that you're wearing, Aaron, the shirt you're wearing, every viewer in here, the shirts that you guys are wearing right now, whether it's a onesie or a men's 7X, the armpit goes right across the middle of the chest. So when it comes to doing heat transfer vinyl, when it comes to doing rhinestones, you look at the armpit, you line it up to the armpits, however the design is, whether it's a wide design, a tall design, to where you think it's going to look good, that part of the design going across the middle of the chest. And again, that's going to take you 2 seconds. So you think about that. You're saving 3 minutes on a press of every shirt. You have a 100 shirt order. That's 300 minutes of labor costs that you just killed in your margins if you have an employee doing that, or yourself, who's obviously an employee.
You know, Matt, when you talk about owners saying, well, hey, I don't have any employees, it is so common to hear them say that, well, my time doesn't count. And you know, that's insane. Your time has way more value than when you hire an employee. So,
and the funny thing with that, like you're saying, is I used to do that same thing. And the reason why I feel like I can explain a lot of this stuff is I was the exact same way that I'm describing. I used a ruler. I used to use the finger trip. I used to say, so this was me. I would get an order in when back even in the day when we were the decal world, an order would come in. I loved the designing part. I loved being on the computer and thinking of creative designs and doing stuff like that. So I would be sitting on the couch at home. I'm watching a Cubs game and I'm designing. I'm like, this is the life right here. But I'm not thinking to myself, it just took me an hour to design that. So again, I'll talk with my seminar or class or whoever I'm talking with, and I'll say, so I got Jonathan here who's doing the videos. Well, I can guarantee you that Jonathan isn't going to say, man, I love doing this video stuff today. You don't have to pay me for it. So I always try to tell them to think about stuff like that, because even though you love to do it, hey, you need to price it like you're paying an employee for that.
Jonathan, are you going to do this for free today? Because
I think
we're not
Jonathan
paying Matt.
you wrong.
Jonathan, you got me? We free today?
Yeah.
He said no chance.
No chance. All right.
Well, hey Matt, let's talk a little bit about paying the bills, and I'm specifically speaking to overhead expenses, and talk to us a little bit about overhead.
So that's again one of a huge thing that everybody that I speak with doesn't think about. You got overhead depending on where you are. You're in your house, you have a retail location, you have your internet, you have your water, you have your cable, you have your rent. So every business and every crew member that we have, their overhead is different. And whether they're paying $2,000 a month in rent and everything else, or they're out of their house and their electricity is going up. I mean, running a heat press isn't a cheap thing. Of people that I've talked to, none of them are really calculating in the added expense for their electric at their house with their heat press. And who knows, they might not need to increase their internet a little bit because it's not quick enough. So again, they're paying a little bit more for that. So there's so many, I talk to so many businesses that they'll look at a shirt and they'll say, I have this shirt right here. And I'm just showing a rhinestone shirt here. So this rhinestone shirt has $1.50 worth of rhinestones and it's a $5 shirt. So I have $6.50 in cost. So if I sell this thing for $12, I'm making a good amount of money. And they say these things, but again, I used to think that as well until I started crunching the numbers and saying, okay, what's going on here? Why are we not making money? I'm assuming I'm making $5.50 on this shirt, but I'm not, because I got that labor cost. I got that overhead cost, so many different things. So then again, I'll play around with them, and we like to have fun. And I'll say, so you don't really have any other costs, right? It's just those rhinestones in that shirt. Yeah, that's my main cost. Well, that heat press that you're pressing those with, you got that for free, right? And that vinyl cutter that you're cutting the material with, you got that for free, right? You didn't pay for that, right?
And it'll last forever.
Yeah, right? Of course I paid for it. Well, guess what? That's business cost. That was part of a cost going into that shirt that you just tried to sell for $12 thinking you're making money.
Awesome. All right. Well, we've got some great comments coming too. So I'm trying to pop those up as they come along. We'll get to some questions once those come along. But this is definitely great information. Everybody's giving us the thumbs up here. So let's keep this going. So, I think this is probably where people really want to know and what they really tuned in for. But how about the actual cost of producing a product? You gave us a little bit there on that shirt quickly, but maybe unpack that a little bit for us.
So I'll get an example here. This is a throw pillow that we made. We did this last night on a Facebook Live at like 11 o'clock at night. We do late nights. We do everything. So we did this one last night, and I made it right there on the Facebook Live, and we talk about it, and we test some different things and ruin things and make cool things. But with this pillow, I actually printed out here kind of a form to be able to show you some of the different costs and everything involved. So just thinking of cost involved with this pillow, okay? So let me see if we make sure you have Terry, do you have, or Aaron, do you have the other one with the same look as far as the image? There should be two of them with the pillow. There's another one that has a little bit more information on the right side. See if we can get that one up. So the one that we're showing right now, this is one that we will give to a customer. Okay. Oh, there you go. We can go back to that shirt. That one's good. That one's good. There you go. Perfect. So I'll show this with a shirt here. Okay. And hopefully you guys that are here on the live, but I'll explain as well for those of you who are on the podcast. So basically I have a rhinestone shirt. So it's on a next level burnout shirt here. So what I wanted to do and what we try to do is we try to help all of our customers and crew with pricing this shirt to make sure they're making money. So this will actually break down everything for you. It'll talk about one thing, one of the biggest things that I see that everybody is missing, again, I did as well, is to charge a design and setup fee. Okay. So again, that's where that time comes in as far as, man, this is fun. I love doing this part. I'm not going to charge them a design and setup fee, but then they're going to email you back and you're going to tweak this, and then you're going to tweak this, then you're going to change this. Next thing you know, you just spend an hour on that setup and design. Well, again, if it's Jonathan doing it, hey, maybe Jonathan's making $12 an hour. We just lost $12 of our actual profits because we didn't charge him for that. So number one is your setup and design fee. Even if you don't want to charge that setup and design fee, I always include it in the quote to them. So I might say, hey, this is your first order. I'm going to waive the setup and design fee. But in that quote, I'm going to show it and say, hey, this is normally a $10 setup and design fee. I'm waiving it. So when they come back for shirt number 2 and it's a different design, they're anticipating that setup and design fee. It's not going to look like, hey, now you're charging me something you didn't charge me before. Again, I learned my lesson on that one. Then what we go into is, for example, the vinyl cost. So on the shirt here, we have $1.60 in vinyl cost. Okay, so it's calculating everything perfectly with your red glitter, with your black glitter. It's calculating your weed box, all of your waste in there. So $1.60 in vinyl cost. Our next level burnout costs, we're at $3.25. So our total material cost is $4.85. So that's where most of the customers and businesses I talk to end when it comes to their pricing. And that's where the biggest problem is. So what else do we have? Let's say it's a $10 an hour employee that's working on this one, and it's going to take us 8 minutes to produce this shirt. Well, employee wages per product is $1.33. Well, again, if you have 100 of these, right, that's $133 that you didn't take into account that you're paying out of your business for that employee. Next thing is the business overhead.
Hey, hey, Matt, let me interrupt you real quick. And hopefully I'm saying the name correctly. Pillar Harrison is asking, where can we find a copy of these order forms? Are they in the Wizard?
Yes, they are. So these are something that when we built our software, we built it instead of from a coding side and a business side, we built it from a production side. I would always write down all the things that I wished were in software. Well, once I found some really, really smart people that can do stuff that I can't do and program, I said, hey, these are all the things I want in this software because this is what would have made my life easy, which is going to make their life easy. So yes, these are all in the Design Wizard. So with this, now I get over to my overhead costs. So here's the way we figure out the overhead costs. It's not going to be perfect, but it at least gives you an idea. Figure out all of your costs for your business. If you have rent, if you have electric, if you have water, if you have internet, if you have phone. So all of your actual cost involved, okay? And take that by the amount of products you produce in a month. So think of your monthly expenses and think of how many, honestly, off the start, you might only produce 10 products a month. Well, if you have $1,000 in cost, you got a boatload of overhead off the start, right? Which is normal. That's always going to happen. However, as you build your business, maybe a screen printer, Terry, on an average month, when you were starting, not when you were big, how many shirts would you produce a month?
Oh gosh, just a couple hundred maybe.
Yeah. So let's just say it's 300 shirts, but we're working out of the house and we only have, let's say we had $300 in cost. Do the math. We're at $1 a shirt in overhead cost. Well, once Terry moved up to 600 shirts a month with his still $300 in electric and internet. And now his cost per product and per shirt is down to 50 cents. So the more, but then, hey, now Terry moves into a big warehouse. His costs are going way up, but he's producing a lot more shirts. But that's kind of a simple way to kind of get an idea. So this one here, I used the example of they had employee wages cost $1.30. Business overhead cost was also $1.33. So I think I used $600 cost, but a $300 or 300 products produced. So now it's figuring out, instead of $4.85, our material, labor, and overhead costs for this product this we just made, this shirt here, is now up to $7.52. So that's almost $3 that we weren't accounting for. Where, again, a 100 shirt order, that's almost $300 we just handed away because we weren't calculating in all that cost. And now it's going to say, okay, this order at 8 minutes a shirt is going to take a little over 3 hours for this employee to make it. Our total order price, $630. Our total material, labor, overhead for 25 of these shirts is going to be $188. So the business profit per hour, okay, and I'm sure all of you guys here are going to be happy with this. Your business is going to make $132.73 an hour. And that's all cost, labor, everything. That's just money coming straight to your business. And then the business is going to make $442 on this order. So what was really cool about this, and when we implemented this, is now I could be talking to somebody at a trade show or in their shop or wherever I am. I'll be like, okay, I think that might be priced a little low. Let me show you something. And I'll input all of their stuff. I'll input the size of the design and their materials and click a button. It spits this out, and you should see their face when they look at this and say, okay, so my business is going to be working for 6 hours to finish this actual order, and I'm going to make $17. So that's where it kind of really kicks into them and says, man, okay, I need to figure out and I need to charge for this, because we're creating custom products. They can't go get this at Target and Walmart. So we got to charge for that.
Well, and this is a living document too, because your costs change, just like you said. Well, you have to now rent a storage building, and so you have to. But once you build this initially, then it's just plugging in numbers. So
exactly, yep.
Matt, I have to tell you, when you're talking about making mistakes, whenever I do seminars or classes, I always say, this is based on 35, 40 years of me standing in the middle of my production floor going, there has got to be a better way to do this.
Oh, yes, every day. And I'm learning just like you guys. We're learning every day as well. And I learn a ton from the crew as well. They'll say, hey, why don't you try this? There's so many people out there that think that everything I do is right. Like, I'm the best at this. We listen to our crew, and they'll come up with great ideas, and I'll be like, holy crap, why didn't I think of that? I should do it that way too. And then we'll share it with everybody else. This is a great way to save some time.
I've had people in seminars bring up suggestions and like talking about niche markets and come up with a really great one. And I'll be like, in the next seminar, I'm going to give you credit for this. One after that, this is my idea.
Hey, at least you give them one.
Well, hey, Matt, we talked a little bit about efficiency on the heat press. Are there any other areas of efficiency that you can share with our listeners?
Yeah, so my second one after the press would probably be, and again, I did this as well, when you get to your cutter, okay? So vinyl cutters, and a lot of you that are in here know, when you got that very first vinyl cutter, you're looking at that thing and you're like, what the heck is this, and what do I do with it? And I'm sure you guys have talked to many customers as well that may have bought a vinyl cutter a year ago and haven't opened it yet or haven't touched it yet because they're intimidated by it. But vinyl cutters are an amazing thing. And the reason why off the start I got into the vinyl cutting side is I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to do t-shirts. I didn't know if I wanted to do car decals. I didn't know if I wanted to do business storefront signs. There was such a wide variety of things that we could do with the vinyl cutter. That's why I chose that. So when it comes to the cutter, we have our cutter here, and I did this. I'm guilty of this. when I'm doing a big job, let's just say I'm doing an order for a little league for baseball uniforms. So I'm cutting maybe 15, 20 at a time, and I'm doing back names and numbers, things like that. Even though you're only one person, you need to think of your vinyl cutter as another employee. You paid a boatload for it off the start, so treat it like an employee. But the best thing about that is it never complains. It never needs a bathroom break. It's great. So you got your vinyl cutter here, and this is what I would do. I would start my cut, and I'll give an example of vinyl car decals because that was a huge part of my business. So these type of, and I know those of you on the podcast can't see, but the vinyl car decals you see on the back window of every other car that you drive by every day, where it's got the little baseball player and the name and everything else. We sell these for $10. We have 9 cents in cost, the biggest margins you're going to find in anything. Okay. So I would start this cut, and I'm so amazed by this vinyl cutter, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, this thing is so cool. And I'm sitting here looking at it and watching it cut for 10 minutes. And I did that a few times, and I'm thinking to myself, and I'll watch other people do it. And then as soon as that cut comes off, you're so excited, you start weeding it. Well, now I have an employee that's over here that's not working for me. So again, I figured out, hey, man, I need to create kind of my own little assembly line to do this. All right, I set up my design, I start my cutter. As it's cutting, it's cool, I know it, but the 7 millionth time you watch it cut, it's not as cool anymore, right? So I'm watching this cut. Now I'm setting up my next cut file while this is cutting. So even though I could cut 100 of these decals at the same time if I wanted to, I brought my number down to 20 decals was my magic number. So these 20 decals would finish by the time I finished editing these. And then as soon as those were done, I would take this vinyl off, okay, not start weeding it. I would send my next cut to the cutter, and now I had it set perfect to where by the time I finished weeding these 20, I would have these 20 set up, and this is cutting the whole time. So you just got to kind of find your magic number when it comes to the vinyl cutter, as far as if you're doing a big order like that, and you can see the car decal here, is what's the magic number to where this is running as much as every second that that's sitting, it could be making you money. So find that magic number and time frame to where it might be 10 decals for you off the start. It might be 50. All right. But find that magic number to where kind of right when you're done with this part, that guy's finishing up. And then you just swap. And then you're working on this, and this is starting again. And then you're just back and forth. And I used to do decal orders of 2,000 decals for schools, for fundraisers. That was outrageous. But I could do them pretty quick just because I would keep kind of that assembly line going on it. So that's the awesome thing about the vinyl cutter, but you got to always think of your jobs as you're doing them. And okay, what's going to help this job? Every extra second that you're sitting there doing it, hey, that's extra money that you're paying an employee and extra time, and that's coming out of your margins.
You're right, man. It's all about efficiency if you want to make a living doing this. I do want to ask you, how many families have you cut out of vinyl to go into back windows, and how many of those were zombie families?
You know what? We didn't do a lot of a ton of the stuff we do is sports, and you'll see almost everything here is sports. Now, we do a lot of other stuff, but the funniest thing, and I get this comment a lot at the trade shows, and I'm sure you guys do as well, is, well, I don't really like sports. And I'll explain to them, you don't have to like sports, but I promise you your business will love sports, because that's where we get all the add-ons. We add the custom number on the sleeve and the name on the back, and it's insane. The sports market in this industry is insane, and that's where we get all those huge upsells. But yes, we actually have a whole stick figure pack because they were so popular that I had some of my graphic artists create a whole pack for files for stick figures. And now all the stick figures are dying, and now everybody's making decals of my stick figures are getting eaten by a dog or whatever it is, right?
That's true.
If you do a zombie one, Terry will definitely buy that.
Yeah, for anybody, there's my Walking Dead phone case.
I like it.
Awesome.
Well, Matt, this is I know you get this question all the time because I get it all the time. I know Aaron does as well. Anytime you work a trade show, how much do I charge? Talk to us a little bit about what we can charge and about making a profit.
Yeah. So this, and I'll explain it as well as, because those of you on the podcast, but those of you can see in the video here. And let me do it with a couple shirts here. Let me grab this shirt here.
Yeah, and for those of you listening to the podcast, I think it's a must watch. So head on over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/2regularguys and check out all the stuff that Matt's showing as well. Pretty impressive. So.
And I want to have a studio set up like Matt has. Man,
I know, right?
That's cool.
That's awesome.
So this here is just again, that next level rhinestone and glitter shirt. Okay. So I would go to events and I would have customers come in and all these different things. And again, pricing is a very difficult thing. So especially when it comes to the custom side of it, because you get all the customers that say, man, I could go get something like that for $12 at Walmart. Well, we all know that they can't. I can guarantee you Walmart doesn't have a shirt that says Terry and Aaron and whatever on it, right? That's the whole thing that we're doing here, is creating custom things. But what I always try to tell everybody is to kind of think about your design before you create it. And that's one thing that's going to help you with some pricing. So a trend that I'm seeing a lot more now is not everything is completely rhinestones. And this is something that I had started doing probably about 2 years ago, because every time I have a Santa Baby rhinestone shirt that I'm showing now. This shirt right here. Now, be careful with your comment here, guys, because this could backfire on you.
Okay.
Now, Aaron, Terry, are either of you wearing this glitter and rhinestone shirt?
I am not, and I have actually said to you guys, all you Rhinestone World guys, that hey, listen, yeah, I'll go have a drink with you afterwards, but you got to change that shirt, man.
So just to let you know, if either of you had said yes, I was bringing this shirt to Dax for you to put on.
I'll wear it. What the heck? I'll do anything.
It's a women's small.
Well, that's just going to be bad for everybody else. So what
I try to explain to people is, we got this shirt here. I'm selling this to all the women and the moms and the grandmas and the sisters and everybody else. I kind of cut my customer base in half. Even though it's a really popular shirt, I cut my entire customer base in half. Well, this shirt right here is, honestly, in my opinion, I like it even more. It's got all the glitter. It's got the stones. It's got everything else. But again, I thought about this design, and this is what we do even when we create our artwork packs. We think about the design before we create it, because we want it to have multiple purposes. So I could sell this to all the women, but this exact same design, just using some basic easy weed, now I have a guy's shirt that all of us will wear. And I didn't have to change one thing, except for here it says Madison, Mom of Madison, and then this one says Madison's dad. So one quick little change, and now I have a shirt for my entire customer base. Now, when it comes to the pricing side of it, this is one thing we would do. This shirt with the glitter and rhinestones on this burnout shirt, we would charge $35. Completely customized, glitter, stones on it, everything. Now, they would say, man, that's a little too much for a shirt. I can't spend $35. So I would say, no problem. I can fix that. I'll take away all these rhinestones, take away the diamonds and the sparkle. I'll talk it up a little bit. Take away all of that. We'll just do the glitter, and now we have a $30 shirt for you. It's still a little too, hey, no problem. I can fix that. We could just use this basic material right here, kind of our dull material. No glitter, no rhinestones. But now I have a $25 shirt for you. And now they're thinking to themselves, okay, they don't have that excuse of kind of saying it's too expensive now, because I helped them with that problem. I gave you a $35 shirt, a $30, a $25. So I would do this at events every day when I would go to events, and the exact same conversation. And they would say, oh, okay, but I really want the glitter and the rhinestones. And then I could say, okay, well, I really want $35. Because what we did is we basically showed them the perceived value of that glittering stones. We said, hey, this looks a whole lot better than this does, but this is obviously more. And that's seeing, and every one of them would obviously go with that $35 shirt because we showed them the difference in the price and why it's priced different. If I only offered this one, they're going to still have in their head, hey, it's a $35 shirt. So they're going to feel like it's overpriced. As soon as I gave them that option, now, okay, do I want, and believe me, when you're at these baseball events and cheerleading and football, no mom wants to be the one walking around with just the basic material and every other mom seeing that they wanted to save $10.
Here's the closer. I'm sure Madison will still love you just as much with the $25 shirt.
Well, another funny thing when it comes to pricing, I talk about this. Now, when I think in my head, I'm thinking, man, this is kind of shady, but it's not, okay? So again, thinking about your design. So I'll always ask in my seminars, okay, what would you rather put? Would you rather put Mom of Madison or Mom of number 23? All right. So they'll half and half. Half of them will raise their hand for 23. Half of them will raise their hand for Madison. Well, you can see this one has Mom of Madison and number 23. So I did both of them on this. But then they'll say, well, why does it really matter? So when I explain to them, they're like, oh, that makes sense. So here's the way that I explain it. My son plays baseball. He's number 20 because Josh Donaldson won the MVP 2 years ago. Well, Jose Altuve won the MVP last year, so he might change numbers this year. Well, guess who has to buy a new shirt as soon as I put a custom number on there? Because you know what? If my son's number 18 now, I'm not going to wear a shirt that says dad of number 20 because number 20 might be Billy now. And now, as soon as you put that custom number on there, their name isn't going to change. So if I just do a custom name, guess what? They're going to be able to wear this shirt for their entire soccer career if they want. I put that number and they change numbers. Hey, that's a chance of me getting more sales.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Okay. All right, Matt. Well, this has been great. We're kind of getting down to the end of it here, but what I'd really like to do is just see if anybody's got any questions that they want to ask. I want to make sure that we get everybody covered. We've got plenty of folks watching us live, so normally we just ask you for your closing thoughts, but I'd really love to get some questions too if anybody's got anything.
Aaron, I noticed that Eric Campbell, Rich Campbell, commented that my closing line was a little cold.
Well, that you are the what did Greg Kitson call you? The predatory salesman?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, anybody listening in, definitely get your questions up now. But Matt, any closing thoughts? Anything that maybe we left out? I know that you've given us a lot. So what do you got for us?
Yeah, the biggest thing I think is just with every business, if anything, overcalculate your cost involved. And then one of the other thing is just make sure that you charge enough. So one thing that I would always do is I would always, whatever I thought, maybe I thought this was a $30 shirt. I would price it at $35. And then what I would do is I would say, I would kind of get feedback from it. But remember, you can always give a coupon code or a discount. So it's a $35 shirt, but you know what? It's your first order. I'm going to give you 15% off your shirt. But they know that retail is $35. See where it goes from there. Because again, if you lower your price a little bit over time, because you say, man, maybe this is a little too expensive, nobody's going to complain if you lower your prices. Well, if you mark it down too much and now that $20 shirt goes to $30, you got a lot of pissed off customers. Yeah. So that's kind of the approach that I always took that I feel like worked really great for me is, hey, charge a little bit more. And if you feel like it's too much, give a little discount. If I'm giving them, let's say the 10% discount, it's taking $3.50 off. Well, now they're going to give me some feedback and they might say, man, $35 is a lot for this shirt. Well, then I can kind of take a mental note of saying, okay, they're still buying it because they're only paying $31.50 or whatever it is, but a mental note of, okay, maybe over time I should start to lower the price. So start high versus start low is kind of the approach that I always took. And well, not always. When I first started, I started low because I always assumed I wanted more sales, more sales, more sales, more customers. But
I wanted to work harder for that money. Is that
exactly? Yeah. And that's the thing that you see a lot, and I'm sure you guys do screen printing and everything else, is you want as many customers, but if you can have 75% of the customers but make more money, and you're not working every night until 3 a.m, hey, now you can almost have a little bit of a life as well and run your business.
Being an entrepreneur gives you the freedom to work all the hours during the day. So, and obviously, if you were recording last night at 11 o'clock, you, hey, Matt, I've seen a couple of comments about you being so smart, SMARTH. Is that an inside crew joke?
Yeah, I'll tell you that one. So, and this is funny. So is it Todd who's coming?
Yes,
it is.
Yes,
I see you, Todd. So we were doing a Facebook Live one night. We went one of them till like 1 a.m, and we're doing a Facebook Live. And I'm not blaming it on the time, but they didn't notice it either. So I made a decal out of one of our dog packs, and it was supposed, the decals you see on the back of cars sometimes, it says, "My dog's smarter than your honor student," or "My so-and-so is smarter than your honor student." Yeah. So I made one with where you could swap out the dog and put it in there, and it said, "My dog is smarter than your honor student." But I spelt smarter completely incorrect. I spelled it smarther with a TH, and I had no clue. And I'm showing it on the Facebook Live, and nobody else saw it. And then we all finally noticed it, and we're like, "Yeah, I'm pretty smart." So that's nice. Every Facebook Live, it's because you're smarter than everybody.
Well, it's funny because dogs can spell.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah, spelling isn't my thing. I'll tell you.
Awesome. All right. Well, we do have a couple other questions here, Matt. So if you don't mind, we're going to keep you for a little longer. But we got one question. So I keep offering a 10% discount for orders over 5 items. I think it's helping. Good idea or no?
Yeah, I like that idea. Mine was always. Here's what I would do if I were at an event or a customer came in when we had our storefront or a first order. What I would do is I would try to turn them into a salesman for me. Okay, I wanted them to basically work for me. So I would even be at an event and I would have a $35 shirt that they just bought. I know I'm at a baseball event or a soccer event. There's at least 10 kids on that team, so there's at least 10 parents. So I would tell that first person, I'd be like, "You know what? If you get me 10 shirts, then I will refund your money or make you a shirt for free." So that motivated them to go out and say, "Hey, I just got this shirt. Why don't you go get one? Hey, we should all get one." And they're turning into a free salesperson for me. And now I'm selling 10 shirts at $35, and I'm giving basically that exact same thing, a 10% discount, because I'm giving one $35 shirt for free. So it's just a matter of thinking of different ways of doing it. Anytime I would ever send out a first order to somebody, I would always include a little card that gave them 10% off their next order on the website. So just, again, thinking of idea. It's not always just 10% off. Think outside the box and think of different ways. But before you do it, do the math to make sure it makes sense for you as well. Yeah. This made sense to me because now I have this mom that's talking to all the other parents, and believe me, it happened a ton. Like every tournament, there was at least 4 or 5 different moms or dads that were there. They went and got me 10 more shirt orders, and I did. I either said, "You know what, I can make you another shirt for free that's $35, or I can refund you this one because I just collected $350.
Yeah. It's basically the commission you're paying is
it is, yeah.
Boils down to. Absolutely. So perfect stuff. Not a question, Matt, but Sue did mention that about the smart thing. She said, "We did notice, just didn't want to embarrass you." So,
oh no, come on, you know you can't embarrass me.
We do, but okay. All right. Well, awesome, Matt. Thank you so much for your time, and thanks to everybody for tuning in and checking this out. And definitely make sure that you get to Kansas City, or you're doing it on all 3 DAX shows, right, Matt?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So get to Kansas City, get to Minnesota, get to Chicago. You get the full 80 minutes of this from Matt, and it will be well worth your time. Just come in for that 80 minutes, and maybe check out one of the 2 regular guys seminars.
There you go.
Exactly.
And I want to thank, I see a ton of the crew here, so I want to thank you guys for coming over. Like I said, Aaron and Terry do a great job with this show. They have a lot of great instructors and industry leaders on the show, so definitely keep checking them out.
Well, thank you so much, Matt. Awesome, Matt. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you soon in Kansas City, and Terry's buying beers.
Sounds good. and Aaron, I'll bring your Rhinestone shirt.
Okay.
Lady Small.
Everybody look away, okay? I'm just warning you now. I have no problem doing it, but it's going to make some people sick.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron. Well, let's hear a word from our sponsor, Equipment Zone.
Sounds great. Let's do that. You jumped quick there, Terry.
Our show today is sponsored by Equipment Zone. Go to equipmentzone.com for the Epson F2000 direct-to-garment printer. Equipment Zone is the only Epson reseller who sends a technician to every customer location for training. This is an absolutely free visit to your location. Equipment Zone is also the manufacturer of the #1 pre-treat machine in the industry, the Speed Treater TX. With no compressor and no special tanks, the Speed Treater TX is the easiest and most consistent pre-treat machine available worldwide. Go to equipmentzone.com for the Epson F2000, the Speed Treater TX, and for all your DTG inks and supplies. That's equipmentzone.com. That's equipmentzone.com. All right, and Aaron, the Equipment Zone is also now selling the F2100, the new printer from Epson. It's going to be shipping in mid-March. So if anybody's interested, get your orders in and get in line for that new printer. Aaron, what events do you have coming up?
Well, we talked about DAX, and that's first and foremost what I'm pretty excited about. And I'll have to check, and I hope I'm not at the same time as Matt, or I'll be talking to myself here, but I'm going to be sharing digital marketing, growing your business with social media and email marketing at the DAX events, and specifically DAX Kansas City to start, and that's going to be on Friday, February 23rd at 12:30 p.m. And then you and I will be doing an event together there shortly thereafter, about 2:20 that afternoon, February 23rd, called Finding New Niche Markets Because You're a Digital Decorator. So excited about that. And then we're going to also enjoy the party that night. So I'm hopeful that, in fact, hopefully we can grab Matt and have him on our show there and kind of get a recap of how things have gone so far at DAX Forum. So
absolutely, and we love to have some of our listeners come up and be interviewed for on the show as well. So
yeah, we'll come up with the theme for the shows this year, or at least each show. So if anybody has any suggestions for what our theme should be, we're all ears.
You know, I remember one of our themes was what year did you start in the business? And one of the comments from one of the people standing there was, I wasn't born yet. So let's not do that one again. I don't need to hear that. So,
that did hurt your feelings a little bit.
It did, yeah.
What about you, Terry? What you got coming up?
Well, I have my complete screen printing business course at Atlas Screen Supply in Nashville, new location. That's going to be March 3rd and 4th. There are a few spots open, so you can find that at my website, terrycombs.com. April 21st and 22nd, I'll be doing that class at Workhorse Products in Phoenix. My DAX seminar, Aaron, in Kansas City, I should say, is equipment and supplies for the new screen printer, what you need for success, and that's going to be Friday, the 23rd at 10:20. And then, of course, you and I will be together. And also all my events, upcoming events. I'm going to be in Arlington, by the way, in 2 weeks, doing an all-day Epson seminar as well for the MBM show.
Awesome. All right. Well, good stuff. Well, next week's show, as we mentioned, we're going to be live at DAX Kansas City. So looking forward to talking to people there during the party. And but Terry, we've got 5 things still. So hopefully, looks like a lot of people are still tuned in. So let's keep this going. And it's your week. So hit us with 5 things.
All right. Well, for any new listeners, 5 things. It's just 5 ideas to motivate a little conversation. So this is 5 things your employees should expect of you as an owner or manager.
Number one, a clear and concise job description. Number two, what is the measure of success in that position? That's really important. Number three, be sure the measure of success is not a moving target that changes without notice throughout the year. Number four, give the employees freedom to make decisions within the parameters of that job description. And number five, give compliments without adding the word but at the end, followed by here's how you should have done it.
Oh man, hold on, I got to write that one down. That's not a strength of mine.
Hey, you can see all of the 5 things on our website, Two Regular Guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We post them as infographics after the fact on our Facebook page. So, jump in there, but share some of those that you like and add your comments to it. Like Terry said, these are just to get the discussion started and give you some places to be. And in fact, I think we'll probably have to ping Matt for 5 things next time. We'd love to have other people share their 5 things and get them up there. So looking forward to that. Terry, anything else before we've kind of reached the end here?
We have reached the end, and I will see you in Kansas City, and we'll start a whirlwind tour out to Palm Springs to SGIA's ThreadX.
Excellent. Well, you know what, Terry, I forgot to show off because I'm getting so excited about all these trips and travels. We got new business cards. I don't know if you
nice.
So we got some new business cards, and then don't yell at me if you make business cards. It was easy at midnight to go to Vistaprint and get them done, and they upsold me into a pen.
Very nice. Two Regular Guys pens.
I just have a couple of these, one for me and you, but if they're popular, we'll get some more made and give them out as swag. Got plenty of swag. Eric, you are. I've got all your stuff with you, your mugs and your 2 Reggie Awards, and I think I've got Matt's. No, maybe I sent Matt's to him, but I can't remember. All right, yeah. Dax, yes, this will be recorded. It'll be posted as a podcast as well, and you can watch it right here on the video also. So, Terry, anything else before we jump on out of here?
That's it, Aaron. Let's wrap it up and get together in a week in Kansas City.
Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.